So these are the factors. So what is the well-being promoting environment? How does that work? And I think we should just briefly look at a model, theoretical model. It's a theoretical model of self-determination, and it says that we have, as humans, some basic needs that need to be met. One need is our need for autonomy. We have need for self-regulation. We should be able to regulate our sort of control ourselves. If we have low levels of self-regulation, then we are probably we might be less able to regulate our emotions. We might be less able to regulate our behaviors. If I'm a drug addict, I don't have self-control. Then the drug habit will have control over me, right? But we would also like control over the external situation as much as possible. And basically, we would like to, have sort of ownership to our own behavior. So what we're engaging in should be something that is in congruity with myself. I'm a student at this and this department. I do this, and this feels right for me to do, right? So congruity with ourself, voluntariness, and ownership to our own behavior, that's really central. So if that is met, we're doing much better, and then not. Then we need to feel competent. We need the skills and knowledge that enable us to control our lives and behaviors effectively. And then the third point is that we need to feel connected to others. We have need to be autonomous and competent, but in connectedness and interaction with others. So we need close emotional bonds with others. That's really important. And then there's a lot of studies showing that when people do experience autonomy, competence, and connectedness, then they have a greater sort of level of ownership to what they're doing. They're more motivated in their jobs, in their studies, and they feel more engaged and involved. And when they do that, they perform better, they are more persistent in what they're doing, and they're more creative. So that's sort of the basic mechanism. And so it's basically sort of, these are internal motivators. This is intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation, what could that be? Well, this seems more like extrinsic motivation. It's when we're competitive, it's when we're focused on appearance and talent and fame, etc., etc. So that's all about the external sort of motivation. Money is also an external motivator. And punishment is also an external motivator. So what do we know about this in terms of students? Well, here's a large study where they interviewed college students and established whether they had extrinsic career goals. So, why are you studying what you're studying? Well, I would like fame and money, for instance, that's extrinsic. Versus intrinsic career goals, which is like personal growth. I would like to learn, I would like to improve other people's lives, etc. That's intrinsic. And then they interviewed them again a year later after graduating, and then it turned out that students with intrinsic career goals, they had better mental health, while students with extrinsic career goals experienced more anxiety and depression, even when they had achieved their career goals. So intrinsic motivation is simply associated with better mental health. And this leads to more or less, I have a few slides left. Am I doing okay time-wise? Okay. So there's a term, you probably know the term social capital. It's a term that's being used about a number of characteristics of groups, organizations, and societies that we know are associated with well-being and happiness. So, and what are these characteristics? One is predictability and transparency. So when things that are, taking place around me, in my group, in my organization, at my university, in my society, are predictable to a certain degree and are transparent. It's transparent what is going on and why. Then I feel more satisfied. I feel better. My well-being goes up. If I have a high level of perceived influence on what is important to me, then my well-being goes up. If there's a high degree of reciprocity, that means when I give something, if I work, if I study, then I experience my feedback or my rewards as being sort of equal to what I'm giving. So reciprocity is important. If I work very hard but my pay is poor, then there's low reciprocity and my well-being goes down. If I'm really lazy bum and my wage is low, then I get what I'm worth. So people are not really worried about that. So, but there need to be a balance between what I'm giving and what I'm receiving, more or less. We would like to experience mutual trust, respect, and openness. If society is characterized by trust, respect, and openness, and that's trust and respect for people who are different from yourself, then well-being goes up. If the environment is generally supportive and helpful at all levels, my well-being goes up. If I get recognition for who I am and what I do and what I contribute with, my well-being goes up. If my life is meaningful, and if what's goes on in society, in my university, in my group, etc., is meaningful, then my well-being goes up. I'm protected against negative consequences of stress. So, and community and collaboration are factors that are associated with well-being. And we can, really look at societies. We can look at dictatorships like Russia, for instance, or we can look at the Scandinavian countries, or we can look at the US and we can find, where the scores go up and down on these factors. And the more these factors are present in the society, the happier people are. And it's no big surprise. So, but my question to you would then be, how do these values translate into a good study environment? So, how can we increase predictability and transparency in the study environment? You have some examples or some factors that you would like to see that would increase that factor? Yes?
Like, if it's clear why do I get the prize or why I didn't get the prize, because they would know what to study for and that it pays off or doesn't, like I get feedback.
Feedback, yes, feedback. So you did well because A, B, C, and D. Or you did less well because this and that, right? So that increase, that's more transparent. Absolutely. And it's predictable in the sense that when I do A, B, C, and D, then I do get, it's not like if I do A, B, and C, and then I don't know whether that really will change anything. Right? So it has, my behavior should lead to a reasonably predictable response. Yeah. So what about perceived influence? What would you like influence on? What can you influence in your study environment? Examples? if you were to make a list of how to improve your studies and improve the university as a study environment, where would you like increased influence? The color of the toilet paper? Yeah. Or other things? Yes?
Courses you can pick.
So, okay, yeah. Other examples? Yes?
Well, the people I'm working with, I see that they are hardworking as well and put a certain amount of work into it, then it will have a good influence on you as well.
So you can pick those people you'd like to work with. Okay. All right. Supportive, helpful environment. How can the university environment become more supportive and helpful? How can you improve that? Any ideas? If you could tell the dean or rector or whoever to improve the studying environment, how could you work with these? Yes?
Being heard will be our first step, I would say.
Being heard, yeah. So that someone listens, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you know when somebody listens?
Well, it depends on the actual, on what is happening, but I guess that action is being taken. When someone listens to you, then you can see that there is a process there, like an ongoing process of action being taken.
Right. Cool. Yeah. But do these factors, do they make sense?
Yeah.
So here's the list. To improve your study environment.